Chapter 91 Experience-Based Advanced Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Teach you. Mu Chen looked at Tang Yue with a dull expression. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have triggered the experience-based advanced hidden task, teach Tang Yue, and let her become a soul master who dominates the Douluo world. Experience-based advanced hidden task. Mu Chen was puzzled and asked curiously, System, what is the experience-based advanced hidden task? Ding dong. The system reports to the host. Whenever an experience-based advanced task is completed to a certain extent, the corresponding experience value reward can be obtained. Douluo continent has a total of 10 levels. Whenever the host helps Tang Yue and obtains the next Soul Master title, she can obtain 1/10 of her increased soul power reward. System, are you asking me to teach Tang Yue? Mu Chen said thoughtfully. Host, you can understand it this way. Once Tang Yue is promoted by 10 levels, you will be able to get a reward of 1/10 of her soul power. That is, the cultivation level will be promoted by one small level. Once the host obtains 10 tasks of the same type, imagine that, host, you don't need to upgrade, you can directly teach others to improve your level. This is to upgrade while lying down. Ding dong. System warm reminder, advanced tasks are rare tasks. There is no limit to the completion period of the task. Can I give up? Mukin asked. Of course. Rejecting this task will not punish the host. It's just that within 3 months, except for the God test, no other type of tasks will be triggered. Ding dong. System warm reminder, as the host gives up more and more tasks, the time limit for being prohibited from triggering hidden tasks will also be longer and longer. Ding dong. Do you want to accept the experience-based advanced hidden task that was triggered this time? To put it bluntly, this experience-based advanced hidden task means that if others upgrade, you can also upgrade. How can Mukin refuse such a benefit? If you refuse, you are definitely a fool. Receive it. Mukin replied. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have received the experience-based advanced hidden task, teach Tang Yue, and let her become a soul master who dominates the world. Ding dong. Congratulations, triggering the C-level hidden task, and having a teacher-student relationship with Tang Yue. Time limit, unlimited. What? Mukin was stunned, and said with a wry smile, teacher-student relationship. With Tang Yue. Damn, system, you want me to be a bad guy again. I knew things were not that simple. Ding dong. The system kindly reminds you that the level and content of the hidden task triggered by the host are related to the host's environment and the host's luck value at that time. The system cannot determine what level and content of the hidden task the host will trigger. A C-level mission is just an ordinary mission. According to Mukin's understanding of hidden missions, if you complete this mission, you can get rewards of combat skills, soul power, and skill points. Do you have any difficulties? Tang Yue likes the 7-string zither very much. Seeing Mukin silent, she couldn't help but ask softly. A gentle voice can soften anyone's heart. At the same time, a subtle wave rippled around her. Mu Chen looked at Tang Yue and suddenly felt that Tang Yue was very kind. It felt like meeting an old acquaintance who hadn't seen each other for a long time. He was about to agree to Tang Yue in his heart, but suddenly the system's voice rang. Ding dong. The system kindly reminds that the host is suffering from the influence of Tang Yue's domain and is losing his mind. Domain? Mu Chen frowned and looked at Tang Yue in astonishment. The latter's face also changed. Her domain, which had been tried and tested, was actually ineffective. Mu Chen breathed a sigh of relief. If it weren't for the system and the system's reminder, he would have almost fallen into Tang Yue's trap. Tang Yue was able to make people agree to her request without making any noise. This is really a terrible domain ability. The ability of the domain is comparable to that of Koto Amatsukami in the Naruto plane. Of course, there are still differences between Koto Amatsukami and the Noble Ring domain. Kodo Amatsukami directly invades the opponent's brain and modifies people's will. Tang Yuehua's noble ring is as gentle as water, which just makes people feel friendly and responds to her request. In addition, Tang Yuehua can also use music to exert the domain, thereby affecting people's emotions. Tang Yuehua looked at Mtlnovel in shock. In this world, there are actually people who get rid of the influence of her domain so quickly. What are you? Mu Chen shouted unhappily, you actually exerted your domain on me. After being shocked, Tang Yuehua looked apologetic and said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have treated you like that. It's just that I have a special liking for this instrument. I hope you can forgive me for the offense. I promise you that I will never use my domain on you in the future. Humph. Mu Chen snorted and turned his back to Tang Yuehua. At present, Tang San, Xiao Wu, Zhu Xueqing, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran, Dai Mubai, Oscar, Ma Hongjun and others have not graduated from here and have not mastered their killing god domains. If he quarreled with Tang Yuehua at this moment, would he let him teach Xiao Wu and the others piano, chess, calligraphy and painting in person? He was angry and apologized. Tang Yuehua bit her red lips lightly with her pearly teeth, still unwilling to give up and said, although I know it's impossible, I still want to say it. What will it take for you to agree to teach me to use this instrument, especially the music you played last night? Mu Chen was silent, Tang Yuehua was also silent. Finally, Mu Chen turned around slowly and said, if you want me to teach you, it's not impossible. Really? Tang Yuehua put her hands together and looked at the young man in front of her with fiery eyes. Yes. Mu Chen nodded and said, if you want me to teach you, you have to worship me as your master. Teacher, please accept Tang Yuehua's worship. Tang Yuehua bowed to Mu Chen respectfully without any hesitation. However, just as Tang Yuehua was about to bow, Mu Chen stretched out his hand to hold her back. When the fingers of both sides touched, a smooth feeling came, which made Mu Chen's mind refreshed. Tang Yuehua not only has a noble temperament, but also has very good skin care. Mu Chen looked at Tang Yuehua's puzzled eyes and explained, don't worry, if you want to worship me as your master, I have another condition. Tang Yuehua asked, what condition? Mu Chen said seriously, give me a massage once a day. What? Tang Yuehua looked sluggish. Make breakfast for me in the morning. Ah. Wash my feet before going to bed at night. Huh. For half a year. As punishment for using your domain on me just now. Half a year, this. Tang Yuehua hesitated and looked at Mtlnovel in amazement. Not to mention half a year, she couldn't even do it for a day. Massage. Make breakfast. Wash feet. These conditions proposed by Mtlnovel are what a wife should do for her husband. Can't do it. Mtlnovel raised his eyebrows slightly and said lightly, it seems that you don't really want to learn this instrument and the songs I know from me. Forget it, I won't make it difficult for you. After speaking, Mtlnovel turned around slowly and wanted to leave here. Tang Yuehua looked at Mtlnovel's back, biting her red lips with her little silver teeth. After hesitating for a while, she finally said respectfully to Mtlnovel's back, teacher, please accept Tang Yuehua's greetings. Chapter 92 Madam Yue, don't worry, I won't say anything nonsense. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mu Chen stopped and turned slowly, one just looked at him, while the other just stood there with his head bowed. One was only 12 years old, while the other was nearly 30 years old. The latter actually called the former teacher incredulously. Get up. Mu Chen accepted Tang Yuehua as his student. Seeing the latter stand up, he asked knowingly, what level is your soul power now? Level 9. Tang Yuehua's eyes were very calm. She had gotten used to it over the years and accepted the reality that she could not become a soul master. Level 9. Mu Chen murmured and repeated. My martial soul is a mutated martial soul. The mutation of martial souls can make people stronger or weaker. I belong to the latter. My martial soul is very special. Since awakening, I have a domain called the Noble Ring. Tang Yuehua said, and her mind moved and she summoned her martial soul. Tang Yuehua's martial soul is very strange. It is actually a light. No, it is like light that seems to be catchable, but is actually difficult to catch. The golden light, like forming a qi gang, enveloped Tang Yuehua's jade body. Tang Yuehua's eyes showed a trace of sadness. As a direct descendant of the first sect of the mainland, Haotian sect, she could not become a soul master in this life. This is a pity for Tang Yuehua. Your martial soul is light. Mukin's expression showed a trace of surprise. You can understand it this way, but it's not completely correct. It mutates very special. Maybe because there has never been such a martial soul in the soul master world, it is impossible to add a soul ring to a ball of light, so my level can never break through the 9th level in my life. Tang Yuehua seemed to be comforting herself. Do you want to become stronger? Mukin asked. Do you mean to become a soul master? Tang Yuehua asked. You can understand it this way. Mukin said lightly. Are you serious? Tang Yuehua was emotional and couldn't help but grab Mukin's arm. Realizing her behavior, Tang Yuehua blushed and let go of Mukin's arm. Mu Chen said, domain is a synonym for powerful. It's a pity that you can't become a powerful soul master with a domain. Tang Yuehua asked anxiously, what method do you have to help me break through the 10th level of soul power? Mu Chen smiled and said, it's very simple to make your soul power break through the 10th level. You just need to obtain a cultivation method. Cultivation method? Tang Yuehua frowned slightly and asked curiously, what is a cultivation method? Mu Chen replied, cultivation method is a trick to guide people to practice. It can make people take the energy between heaven and earth into their bodies and use it for themselves. It is far beyond the soul master's ordinary meditation. Tang Yuehua asked in surprise, is there such a strange thing in the world? Tang Yuehua is a direct descendant of Haotian sect and the daughter of the previous leader of Haotian sect. She has never heard of the existence of cultivation methods in the world. Yes. Mu Chen nodded and said, compared to the ordinary meditation of soul masters, this method has an advantage. That is, even if one's soul power reaches level 10, even if one does not obtain soul rings, one can continue to improve soul power by continuing to practice. In the first half of DouluoDalu, Tang San did not obtain soul rings, which made Xiantiangong not make any progress. After Tang San entered the Sea God Island and was rescued by the doctor, there was another description in a conversation with the doctor. Even if one does not obtain soul rings, one can continue to improve soul power. There is no mistake here, please don't criticize. Tang Yuehua's eyes widened with surprise. Isn't the method that Mu Chen said tailor-made for her? Tang Yuehua said excitedly, teacher, are you willing to teach me this method? Yes, don't move. Mu Chen nodded, stretched out his hand, and pointed his finger at Tang Yuehua's brow. A ray of white light shot out from Mu Chen's fingers and penetrated into Tang Yuehua's brow. In Tang Yuehua's eyes, words and graphics flashed. Xiantiangong, Tang Yuehua murmured to herself. The technique that Mukin taught her was the Tang sect's unique Xiantiangong. When the transmission was closed, Mukin frowned, his eyes were full of stars, his body staggered, and he was about to fall to the ground. Teacher, Tang Yuehua cried out in a hurry, subconsciously stretched out her hand, hugged Mukin, and asked with concern, what's wrong with you? Soul power plus 237. The close physical contact between the two sides allowed Mukin to gain 237 points of soul power. Mu Chen smiled slightly and said, I'm fine, just a little tired, I'll be fine after a rest. Tang Yuehua looked at Mukin's appearance, and a warm current flowed through her heart, saying, teacher, you rest here for a while. I'll go and cook a nourishing medicine soup for you. Mu Chen shook his head and said, no, just rest for a while. Tang Yuehua was stunned and asked in surprise, that's it? Mu Chen nodded. Tang Yuehua obviously misunderstood Mu Chen's intention. She didn't intend to help Mu Chen to sit aside, and really let Mu Chen lie in her arms to rest. Mu Chen was stunned. Seeing that Tang Yuehua didn't help him to sit aside, he knew that Tang Yuehua had misunderstood. Soul power plus 336. Soul power plus 356. Soul power plus 454. Almost every minute, Mu Chen can gain more than 300 points of soul power. Since Tang Yuehua misunderstood, Mu Chen was not that stupid. Let Tang Yuehua continue to misunderstand. Mrs. You. When Mukin was enjoying it, a slightly childish voice broke the tranquility of the building. The owner of the voice was a woman, and her appearance was okay. She was not so beautiful that she could make fishes sink to the bottom of the water and geese fall to the ground, but she was the type that was easy to look at. However, her figure was really impeccable. 1 point more is too much, 1 point less is too little. Xueqing, Tang Yuehua blurted out, realizing her indecency, and quickly stood up from the ground. She helped Mukin up, and seeing that Mukin could stand up straight, she asked, "Teacher, are you okay?" "Teacher," Xueqing was shocked. The young man in front of her was actually Mrs. Yu's teacher. But, he was obviously just a young man about her age. "Yeah." Mu Chen nodded. "When did you rest well?" Tang Yuehua asked. "It's been a while." Mukin smiled proudly. "A while?" Tang Yuehua was slightly stunned. Wouldn't that mean that Mukin just took the opportunity to enjoy her tenderness? Tang Yuehua blushed when she thought of this. Noticing that the princess of the Tiandou Empire, Xueqing, was also here, she quickly explained, "Xueqing, what happened just now is not what you imagined." Xueqing smiled and said, "Madam Yue, don't worry, I won't say anything nonsense." Tang Yuehua breathed a sigh of relief, and then realized that something was wrong. Isn't Xueqing saying that she thinks she and Mu Chen are having an affair? Chapter 93, All-Rounder is the way to go. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tang Yuehua said again, "Xueqing, the relationship between us is really not what you think." Xueqing walked to Tang Yuehua's side, smiled, and whispered, "Madam Yue, it's okay. Age is not a problem, true love has no age limit." Tang Yuehua smiled bitterly in her heart. What Xueqing said was not true. She and Mukin had not even started dating. It turned out that Xueqing thought she was an old cow eating tender grass. Tang Yuehua made things worse and didn't know how to explain to Xueqing for a while. "Your name is Xueqing," that when Tang Yuehua was thinking about how to explain to Xueqing, Mukin's voice suddenly sounded. Xueqing nodded. "Your last name is Xue, are you a member of the Tiandou royal family?" Mukin asked knowingly. When getting along with people, even if he knew everything here and acted like he knew everything, Mukin knew that it would only make people stay away from him. "Yeah." Xueqing nodded. "Ding dong. Congratulations, you have triggered the E-level hidden task. Find a way to get Xueqing's consent and instruct and train Xueqing. Another hidden task has been triggered, and it is to instruct and train Xueqing." Mu Chen was delighted again, and looked at Xueqing with a somewhat fiery look. Xueqing looked at Mu Chen and looked down at herself. She was puzzled, why did he have the illusion of being a prey in front of Mu Chen? "Teacher, this is the princess of the Tiandou Empire, Princess Xueqing." "Xueqing, this is my teacher who I worshipped recently, his name is Mu Chen." Tang Yuehua wanted to introduce Mu Chen, but found that he knew very little about Mu Chen. Even the nobles were used to judging people by their status, and finally could only introduce Mu Chen as her teacher, Tang Yuehua. "Hello, Princess." Mu Chen said lightly, without any intention of saluting. Xueqing didn't care about this and said politely, "Hello. Princess Xueqing, please forgive me for being blunt. According to my understanding of martial souls, a soul master with a golden swan martial soul should not develop towards the strong attack system." Mu Chen said. "Oh, then what kind of soul master should we develop towards?" Xueqing asked lightly with a hint of contempt in her eyes. In his opinion, the young man in front of him was about the same age as him, so what could he know about martial souls? Agile attack, defense, and auxiliary are auxiliary, and control is the main. Mu Chen replied. A soul master develops in 3 different directions. Xueqing smiled, and smiled with contempt. This is not Xueqing's fault. In today's soul master world, developing in a single direction has become the common consciousness of soul masters. For example, Ning Rongrong is a sole master of the auxiliary system, and she always takes the auxiliary route. Dai Mubai is a sole master of the strong attack system, and all his soul skills have the ability to attack. No one has ever developed in multiple directions. That's right. For other martial souls, it may not be suitable to develop in multiple directions. But the Golden Swan martial soul is different. It has a certain degree of defense and a strong attack power. In addition, with the Golden Swan martial soul, it is most suitable to become a sole master of the control system. Mukin nodded. Control system. Xueqing smiled, and couldn't help laughing. Although she was not deeply involved in the knowledge of martial souls, she had never heard of a soul master with a swan martial soul who would choose to develop in the control system. Teacher, why? Tang Yue was also shocked by Mukin's words and asked Mukin curiously. Because the swan is a very beautiful animal. Awakening its martial soul, having the willingness of its own blood, has a soft characteristic in its bones. It can control the other party by dancing. Mukin explained. You mean dancing? Tang Yue asked thoughtfully. Yes. Mukin nodded. You are also good at dancing? Tang Yue asked in surprise. Mukin not only paints and plays music, but also dances. Tang Yue was surprised and thought to herself, is her teacher omnipotent? I know a little bit. Mu Qin said modestly. Are you willing to teach Xueqing? Tang Yue asked. It depends on whether she is willing to learn. Mu Qin smiled and looked at Princess Xueqing of the Tiandou Empire. Xueqing, come on, ask the teacher to teach you. Tang Yue urged, he. Xueqing looked at Mu Qin with a questioning look. Obviously, she was questioning Mu Qin's ability. Mu Qin was about the same age as her. In Xueqing's opinion, what could Mu Qin teach her, teacher? Noticing Tang Yuehua's address to Mu Qin, Xueqing realized that the young man in front of her was Madam Yue, who was doing well in the aristocratic circle of Tiandou City. Is Madam Yue a fool? No, Madam Yue is certainly not a fool. To be Madam Yue's teacher, he must have his own strengths. Thinking of this, Xueqing asked, do I need to worship you as my teacher? Mu Qin shook his head and said, it's just guidance, there's no need to worship me as your teacher. And, please forgive me for being frank, you are not qualified to worship me as your teacher. Even though Xueqing was a princess, with Madam Yue present, she was also angry. She wondered what kind of extraordinary person in front of her was that dared to say such words to her. A princess, okay, this princess wants to see how you can guide me. Xueqing thought so in her heart. As a princess, she still has some scheming. She respectfully clasped her fists to Mu Qin and said, please guide me. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have completed the E-level hidden task and obtained Xueqing's consent to guide and train Xueqing. Reward skill points, 4 points, reward soul power, 51,000 points. Name, Mu Qin, age, 12 years old, level 72, 230050/103050. Martial soul, chaos sword, soul rings, purple, black, red, soul skills, melody of the awakening earth, roar of flame, sigh of the ice and snow goddess, wrath of thunder, wind blade, devour, skill points, 229 points, magic powers, 3 Magatama Sharingan, self-created soul skills, 8 extreme collapse, 3-fold dark power, 1,000 years of killing, blowing fire palm, great perfection, sucking palm, great perfection, wind god leg, first style, catching wind and shadows. Sky frost fist, cloud clearing palm, fire style, great fireball technique, Susanu, items, sleeve arrow, 1, 9 inner pills that can obtain soul rings with a lifetime of 30,000 years, 9 inner pills that can obtain soul rings with a lifetime of 50,000 years, and 20 primary fusion cards, soul bone, external soul bone, chaos 8 wings, money, 11,810,000 gold soul coins. Ha ha ha, Mu Qin was overjoyed. With just a few words, he gained 51,000 soul points. This is equivalent to at least 3 months of hard training for an ordinary soul saint. Dare to look down on me. Mu Chen naturally noticed the obscure look in Xueqing's eyes, and a hint of intriguing arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. He had already decided in his heart that it was necessary to punish this princess a little. Chapter 94, the youngest soul saint in history. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System: use the primary fusion card on Fengshen Leg, Cloud Paling Palm, and Sky Frost Fist. Ding dong. The system cannot execute the host's request. The proficiency of Fengshen Leg, Cloud Dispelling Palm and Tianxuang Fist has not yet reached the state of great perfection and cannot be integrated and upgraded. Mu Chen looked at the personal information interface and saw the 229 skill points he now had. In that case, raise the Fengshen Leg to the state of Dzogchen. Mu Chen ordered. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have spent 10 skill points and mastered the second style of Fengshen Legs, Powerful Grass in the Wind. Powerful Grass in the Wind not only attacks the enemy at extremely fast speed, but also has huge power and causes huge damage. Congratulations, you spent 10 skill points and mastered the third style of Fengshen Leg, Heavy Rain and Wind. Heavy rain and strong wind, the legs are poured down like a heavy rain, and the legs are as violent as a strong wind. This is the ultimate form of heavy rain and strong wind. Congratulations, you spent 10 skill points and mastered the fourth style of Fengshen Legs, Thunderous Wind, thunderous and resolute. His strength is like thunder, his legs are as fast as the wind, and it is difficult for anyone to compete with him. Congratulations, you spent 20 skill points and mastered the fifth form of Fengshen Legs, Wind Rolling Tower Can. Fengjuan Laozhen, the body rotates rapidly, bringing up all the surrounding objects and attacking the opponent fiercely. Congratulations, you spent 50 skill points and mastered the sixth form of the Wind God's Leg, Howl of the Wind. Howling of the Divine Wind, the wrath of the Divine Wind is unstoppable. As the 5 system sounds sounded, 5 warm currents flowed into Mu Chen's mind. Mu Chen felt that his mastery of Fengshen's legs became more profound. The Wind God Leg has finally been upgraded to the great perfection state. It cost a total of 100 skill points before and after. It was completely worth it to spend 100 skill points to perfect Nie Feng's unique skills. It's just that there are 129 skill points left. It seems that it is impossible to fuse 3 points of return to vitality. I want to use the fusion card to fuse 3 points of return energy. It is necessary to practice the Fengshen Kick, Cloud Dispelling Palm and Tianxuang Fist to perfection. There is obviously still a big gap. What should be integrated and upgraded next? Mu Chen looked at his personal attribute interface. Maybe others think his system is like a game system, but Mu Chen thinks his chaotic system is like a housekeeper or secretary. Manage and accurately collect his relevant information. Today, I lack a soul ring. The package contains 9 inner elixirs that can obtain a 30,000-year soul ring, and 9 inner elixirs that can obtain a 50,000-year soul ring. The system, the primary fusion upgrade card can. Do you want to use the inner elixir? Mu Chen asked. Ding dong. The system reports back to the host that the primary fusion upgrade card can only fuse and upgrade inner elixirs and soul rings that are less than 100,000 years old. The intermediate fusion upgrade card can fuse and upgrade soul rings that are less than 1 million years old. The advanced fusion upgrade card can fuse and upgrade soul rings that are less than 10 million years old. As for the ultimate fusion upgrade card, it can fuse all soul rings that are less than 100 million years old. 100 million years. Mu Chen secretly wondered, a million-year-old soul ring is golden, so what will the color of a million-year-old soul ring be like? As long as there are enough soul rings and fusion cards, one day in the future, Mu Chen may be able to obtain a soul ring that lasts for tens of millions of years, or even 100 million years. Then what are you waiting for? The system uses the primary fusion upgrade card to fuse the inner elixir that can obtain a 30,000-year soul ring and the 50,000-year inner elixir respectively. Mu Chen ordered. Ding dong. Congratulations, you used 9 primary fusion upgrade cards to fuse 9 inner elixirs that can obtain a 30,000-year soul ring and 9 inner elixirs that can obtain a 50,000-year soul ring. Finally, if you get 9, you can get 8 the inner elixir of a 10,000-year-old soul ring. As the system sound fell, the number of primary fusion cards in Mu Chen's package was reduced from 20 to 11. At the same time, 9 more inner elixirs containing more powerful energy were added to the system package. System, use the primary fusion upgrade card to fuse and upgrade 9 inner elixirs that can obtain an 80,000-year soul ring. Mu Chen continued to order. Ding dong. Congratulations, you used 4 primary fusion upgrade cards to fuse and upgrade 8 inner elixirs that can obtain a soul ring with a lifespan of 80,000 years. You have obtained 4 inner elixirs that can obtain a soul ring with a lifespan of 160,000 years. Now I have obtained 4 soul rings with a lifespan of 160,000 years. Mu Chen was so happy that he almost laughed. In today's Douluo continent, soul rings that are 10,000 years old are very common, but soul rings that are more than 100,000 years old are very rare. Thinking about the battle between Tang Hao and Qianrenxue, if Tang Hao hadn't had a 100,000-year soul ring, he still wouldn't have been able to seriously injure Qianrenxue in the end. Soul rings can increase a person's attributes. Every time the soul ring's life increases by 1 year, the number of attribute points it can add to the soul master is 1. A 100-year-old soul ring can increase a soul master's attributes by hundreds of points. A 1,000-year soul ring is worth 1,000 points, and a 10,000-year soul ring is worth 10,000 points. As for the 160,000-year-old soul ring, it can increase the attributes of a soul master by 160,000 points. Mu Chen felt a little excited in his heart. It was obvious that his level was the 6th ring and 72nd level soul emperor. As long as you obtain 1 soul ring, you can become a 7 ring and 72 level soul saint. Moreover, once a soul master becomes a soul saint and obtains their 7th soul ring, their combat effectiveness will undergo a qualitative leap. System, use an inner elixir that can obtain a 160,000-year soul ring on me. Mukin ordered. Buzz. As Mukin's order was issued, a warm feeling spread throughout Mukin's body. Mukin looked at his arm, and he could feel that his whole body was full of surging energy, as if he had endless strength. You lost. Xueqing was wearing a colorful feather dress, with a proud arc at the corner of her mouth. Opposite Xueqing stood a woman. The woman looked not much older than Xueqing, and had 3 soul rings around her, in yellow, and purple. At this time, the woman looked at Xueqing with extremely shocked eyes. She murmured, "Is this your self-created soul skill?" "Is it?" Xueqing nodded and smiled, and with a move of her hand, the more than 10-meter-long Hun Tianling shortened to 2 or 3 meters. Being held by Xueqing, she looked like a fairy in fairy clothes. How can there be such a strange self-created soul skill? You were just dancing just now. Even though she was defeated, Xueqing's opponent still looked at Xueqing in disbelief. I didn't believe that there would be such a self-created soul skill before. It was not until Mr. Mukin's teaching that I realized that I was very suitable for developing in the direction of the control system. While speaking, Xueqing walked in front of Mukin and clasped her fists to Mukin and said, "Thank you Mr. Mukin for your guidance." Mu Chen stood up from his chair, helped Xueqing up, and said, "No need to be polite. These days, you have been able to master the essence of dance, which is inseparable from your talent and acquired efforts. Soul power plus 126. As Mukin's fingers touched Xueqing's jade hands, Mukin gained another 126 points of soul power effort. Xueqing blushed. Thinking of Mukin's personal teaching in the past year, her face couldn't help but blush. Ding dong. Congratulations, your soul power is full and you have upgraded. Current level, level 73, 0/11478800. Upgraded. Mu Chen was delighted, and his mouth curled up slightly. In the past year of teaching, Mu Chen has taken the opportunity to tease Xueqing. Oh, and his apprentice Tang Yue. After a year of accumulation, Mu Chen's soul power level finally broke through to level 73. In the aristocratic etiquette school of the Tiandou Empire, he was promoted a small level. Teacher, I have an unwelcome request. Tang Yuehua suddenly walked to Mu Chen and said. Oh, what is it? Mu Chen said lightly. This year's graduation ceremony is about to be held. I want you to perform on behalf of all the graduating students. Tang Yuehua pleaded with a smile. Mu Chen was secretly shocked, looking at Princess Xueqing, and a smile gradually appeared at the corner of his mouth. Familiar with the storyline of Douluo, Mu Chen knew that the Crown Prince Xueqing of the Tiandou Empire would be invited by Princess Xueqing to attend this year's graduation ceremony. In other words, Mu Chen would meet Xueqing. Oh no, he would meet Qianrenxue formally. Qianrenxue is now a woman dressed as a man. Yes, I can do this or that. As Mu Chen thought about it, the smile on his face became more and more obscene. Chapter 95 Xueqing River, Qianrenxue. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. At the beginning of the lanterns, many nobles poured into a building called Yuexian. They come here for different purposes. Some come here for their relatives, some come here to find a beautiful woman of their choice and find a future partner, and some people use this opportunity to see if they can find a future partner. Find a beauty so they can have a good time. Of course, they are not just guests who come here just to listen to wonderful music. Everyone, Yueshuan's graduation ceremony for this year will begin soon. Graduates are invited to enter. As soon as the host finished speaking, many people wearing silver clothes entered the central stand. The stands were surrounded by many screens. Through the gauze barrier, one could only vaguely see the outline of the graduates inside. All the important people in Tiandou City are here. What is the origin of Madam this month? She actually allows people like princes and princesses to come here to study. I can't find out any specific information about Madam this moon. I heard that Madam this moon is having an affair with His Majesty Xueyi, that with the arrival of Prince Xueqing and His Royal Highness Prince Xueqing, people were talking about Tang Yuehua in private. They probably didn't know that Tang Yuehua's charm was not only due to her accomplishments in etiquette and music, but also because she was a direct descendant of the Haotian sect. Is Your Majesty Xueyi stupid? His Majesty Xueyi of the Tiandou Empire is not a foolish king. Today's Haotian sect is reclusive. For him, having a good relationship with Tang Yuehua means having a good relationship with the Haotian sect. After a while, Tang Yuehua walked up to the front desk and bowed elegantly to the nobles around him. Wow, is this Mrs. Yu? One person said with emotion. She really has an extraordinary temperament. If I can get her favor, I am willing to divorce the 18 ladies in my family. Tang Yuehua's beauty, coupled with her outstanding appearance, impressed the hearts of many nobles. Tang Yuehua held the baton and then started to dance slowly. Beautiful sounds sounded all around, and the screen covering the academy began to slowly lower. It's Her Royal Highness Princess Xueqing. The screen fell, and Princess Xueqing appeared on the ring in a fairy costume. As the music moved, he began to dance very rhythmically. Hey, look, there's another person. People unexpectedly discovered that behind Her Royal Highness Princess Xueqing, there was a young man wearing a blue brocade robe. The boy was sitting at a table, his fingers dancing on an instrument they had never heard of. The beautiful music, with the dancing of young man's fingers, touched everyone's heartstrings. Quiet and at ease, the same on the outside and on the outside. What a strange man. He deserves to be highly praised by Xueqing. Next to His Royal Highness Prince Snow Star, a young man praised the man who was playing. After the graduation ceremony, each student received their graduation certificate from Tang Yuehua, the master of the academy. Congratulations, teacher, you graduated. Tang Yuehua smiled a little funny. She was obviously the student of the young man in front of her. However, she actually wanted to issue a graduation certificate to the young man in front of her. Mu Chen nodded and put the graduation certificate handed over by Tang Yuehua into the storage soul guide. Congratulations, brother. Xiao Wu congratulated Mu Chen. Congratulations, boss Mu. Dai Mubai, Zhu Qing, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Meng Yiran, and Tang San all congratulated Mu Chen. Congratulations to you too. You have finally completed the third stage of your training and can control your murderous aura freely. From now on, you don't need to continue to receive training from me. Mu Chen also congratulated everyone one by one. Oi, I also graduated from Boss Mu. Ma Hongjun shouted happily. As for Ning Rongrong and Zhu Xueqing, they looked at Mu Chen with somewhat confused eyes, without any joy, and seemed to be very reluctant to let go. It seemed that in their hearts, the two of them still hoped to continue to receive special training from Mu Chen. Aunt Yuehua, can you introduce it to me? That at this moment, a clear figure sounded. Tang Yuehua looked back and saw His Royal Highness Xueqing, dressed in casual clothes, walking over elegantly and gracefully accompanied by Xueqing. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Tang Yuehua saluted slightly. Aunt Yuehua, what are you doing? This junior can't bear this. Xueqing hurriedly returned the gift. As His Highness the Crown Prince, he knew that the beauty in front of him had a decisive influence in the aristocratic circle of the Tiandou Empire. Don't call me auntie, am I the youngest? Tang Yuehua said with a smile. Xueqing smiled. As for Xueqing, she walked up to Tang Yuehua, held her arm affectionately, and said playfully, Teacher, of course you are not old. You are like my sister. Tang Yuehua smiled slightly and said, You are still good at talking, girl. Let me introduce to you, these are students from Shrek Academy, namely Dai Mubai, Zhu Xueqing, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Meng Yiran, Ma Hongjun, Tang San, and my teacher, Mu Chen. Teacher. The young man in front of me is actually Tang Yuehua's teacher. Xueqing was not surprised, and two gleams flashed in his eyes. Regarding Tang Yuehua's appointment as Mukin's disciple, Xueqing had already mentioned this in the letter to him. Xueqing observed Mu Chen very close to him, and couldn't help but be attracted by the calm and elegant temperament exuding from Mu Chen. At the same time, Mukin was also looking at Xueqing. Qianrenxue, who was disguised as Xueqing, was very talkative, and her conversation gave people a sense of calmness and grandeur. Although she looked very cunning, she gave people a very comfortable feeling. Not only did she not have the airs of a prince, but her approachable feeling was very easy to accept. She was so open-minded that even Mukin could not find anything unusual. Out of curiosity, Mukin used the Sharingan. When Mukin used the Sharingan, Mukin was stunned. As the mental power gathered in the pupils, the clothes on Xueqing's body began to gradually become transparent. At this time, Mukin seemed to have a perspective eye. A body of the opposite sex appeared under Mukin's eyes. So beautiful. Mukin couldn't help but praise in his heart. Not only the body, but also Xueqing's facial features were changing. On Xueqing's face, a completely different facial feature appeared. Skin whiter than snow, straight nose, slightly slender phoenix eyes, and a stunning face with a bit of power. Xueqing noticed the change in the color of Mukin's pupils, and was shocked. Under Mukin's eyes, he had the illusion of being naked, as if he was standing in front of him naked. He thought to himself, hey, his eyes turned red. Could it be that my identity has been seen through? Chapter 96 Experience-Based Advanced Limited Time Mission. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xueqing's eyes flickered. His confidence began to waver, and he couldn't help wondering if he had been seen through by the young man in front of him. Teacher, this is the current crown prince of Tiandou Empire, Xueqing. Tang Yuehua then explained to Mukin. Yes. Mukin nodded slightly, and had no intention of saluting the crown prince. He just smiled and said hello, crown prince. Seeing Mukin like this, Xueqing didn't care and let Mukin salute him. Smiling, she said, I've heard from my younger sister that Yue Xian has a master-level figure in painting, music and dance. Seeing him today, I find that he is indeed worthy of his reputation. If I have time, I hope to sit with you. I'll go too. Seeing Xueqing's courteous invitation, Xueqing hurriedly said, I still have some dance knowledge that I want to ask Mr. Mukin. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have obtained the experience-based advanced time-limited task. Take advantage of Qianrenxue. The more you take advantage of her, the richer the reward you will get in the end. Time limit, half an hour. Fuck, system, you want me to be a bad guy again? Mu Chen was secretly shocked. The person in front of him was of extraordinary status. On the surface, he was the crown prince of the Tiandou Empire, but in fact, he was Qianrenxue, the eldest lady of the Wuhuan Hall. If you take advantage of the person in front of you, you might just dig your own grave. Okay. Mu Chen did not refuse, and put his arm around Xueqing's shoulder affectionately, saying, "It just so happens that I will stay in Tiandou City during this period, and I can sit with you anytime." Ding dong. Congratulations, you have put your arm around Qianrenxue's shoulder and gained 60,000 soul power points. Fuck. 60,000 soul power points, Mu Chen was overjoyed. Just by putting his arm around Qianrenxue's shoulder, he gained 60,000 soul power points. He hasn't done anything yet. Madam Chen looked at Xueqing with a fiery look. Xueqing was not used to Much Chen's intimate behavior, so he took a step and broke free from Much Chen's arm around his shoulder. As the crown prince, Xueqing had to keep a smile on his face and said, "Okay, I will hold a banquet at the crown prince's mansion tomorrow night, and we must have a couple of drinks then." "Okay, no problem." Much Chen agreed to this without any worries. Looking at Xueqing, he said, "Your Highness, after meeting you, I don't know why, I have a very intimate feeling in my heart, as if we knew each other in the past 3 lives. Maybe, we might have been brothers in the past 3 lives." Xueqing joked with a smile. "Since you also have this feeling, why don't we become sworn brothers of the opposite sex, what do you think?" Mu Chen suggested. Become brothers of the opposite sex. Xueqing was surprised. He just said it casually and didn't expect Mu Chen to become brothers of the opposite sex with him. "Yes. Are you unwilling?" "That's right, I'm just a commoner, and you are the high and mighty prince. If you become brothers of the opposite sex with me, even if you are willing, the ministers in the court of the Tiandou Empire will have objections." In order to get the upper hand, Mu Chen used the method of provoking. "Brother Mtlnovel, you misunderstood. Who I become brothers with is my private life, and even the ministers in the court cannot control this. I am willing to become brothers with you." Xueqing responded without hesitation. Mtlnovel was so young, but he could become Tang Yuehua's teacher. He must have his own strengths. Becoming brothers with Mtlnovel would not be bad for Xueqing. After a while, Tang Yuehua ordered people to set up an offering table in the yard according to Mtlnovel's instructions, on which were placed 3 animal heads and an incense burner. "The yellow heaven is above, the thick earth is a witness, the mountains and rivers are an alliance, and the seas are a promise. Today, I, Mtlnovel, am willing to become brothers with the people around me, share happiness and difficulties together, and do not ask to be born on the same day of the same year, month and day, but to die on the same day of the same year, month and day. If you violate this, you will be punished by heaven and earth." Mtlnovel solemnly swore. Seeing this, Xueqing also recited, "The yellow heaven is above, the thick earth is a witness, the mountains and rivers are an alliance, and the seas are a promise. Today, I, Xueqing, am willing to become brothers of the opposite sex with the people around me, share happiness and difficulties, and do not ask to be born on the same day of the same year, month and day, but to die on the same day of the same year. If you violate this, heaven and earth will punish you." After speaking, Mu Chen and Xueqing held 3 incense sticks and bowed 3 times to the altar. Then they inserted the incense in their hands into the incense burner. At this point, Mu Chen stretched out his hand, held Xueqing's white hand, and said, "You are older than me. From now on, I will call you Big Brother." Ding dong. Congratulations, you shook Qianrenxue's jade hand and gained soul power, 150,000 points. Okay, I will call you Second Brother. Xueqing did not dodge, and shook hands with Mu Chen. Okay, Big Brother. Mu Chen stretched out his hand and put his hand on Xueqing's shoulder again. Maybe he was taking advantage of her in the same way, so Mtlnovel didn't get any reward this time. Looking at the personal information interface, he still needed 590,000 soul points to upgrade. In order to upgrade, Mtlnovel tried his best. Mtlnovel looked at Xueqing's facial features, stretched out his hand and boldly pinched his face, and asked, "Brother, why is your face so white? Is there a secret recipe for beauty in the palace?" Ding dong. Congratulations, you pinched Qianrenxue's face and gained soul power, 200,000 points. Mtlnovel still needed 390,000 soul points to upgrade. Xueqing was afraid that others would see through his identity. Even though he was not used to Mtlnovel's intimate behavior, he still endured it silently and said, "The palace does have some secret recipes for beauty. Since you are interested, I will ask someone to send them to you later." Okay. Mtlnovel nodded. He only needed 390,000 soul power to upgrade. In order to upgrade, Mtlnovel really tried his best. Mtlnovel pulled Xueqing aside and asked in a low voice, "Brother, please forgive me for being blunt, but your chest muscles are not good. You are the crown prince of the Tiandou Empire, and you should have a majestic image. Do you want me to give you some guidance? I have a quick way to build chest muscles." After Mtlnovel finished speaking, he boldly touched Xueqing's chest with his fingers. To outsiders, Xueqing is a man, and Mtlnovel is also a man. This behavior is not a big deal at all. Soul power plus 300,000. Due to Mtlnovel's actions, Mtlnovel gained 300,000 soul power at once. To upgrade, Mtlnovel still needs 90,000 soul power. Xueqing's expression did not change much, but he wanted to slap Mtlnovel in the face. As the crown prince, the two of them just became sworn brothers of the opposite sex. Xueqing asked himself if he could withstand such a scene. Xueqing smiled and said, "Thank you for your kindness, second brother. I am very satisfied with my current figure. There is still 90,000 soul power points to upgrade, and there is only half a minute left for the experience-based advanced time-limited task. What to do?" In order to upgrade, Mtlnovel went all out. Mtlnovel suddenly let go of his hand on Xueqing's shoulder, his eyes fell on his buttocks, and said, "Brother, please forgive me for being blunt, your figure looks like a woman. Especially your buttocks." Mtlnovel waved his hand and took the opportunity to hit Xueqing's buttocks. Soul power plus 350,000. Due to Mtlnovel's actions, Mtlnovel suddenly gained another 350,000 soul power points. The voice of the system finally sounded. Ding dong. Congratulations, your soul power has been fully accumulated and you have upgraded. Your current level is 73,260,000/1147800. Chapter 97, Entertainment Upgrades. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I actually got a level up on Qianrenxue. Mtlnovel was overjoyed. It was only half an hour, but he actually got a small level up. He got the fruits of a year of hard work of an ordinary soul saint. Ding dong. The time limit for the experience-based advancement task for Qianrenxue has expired. The host has obtained a total of 1.06 million soul power. This task can be scored 4.5 stars. Extra soul power reward, 954,000 points. Ding dong. Congratulations, soul power is fully accumulated and upgraded. Current level, level 74, 66200/1276900. As the system voice fell, Mtlnovel felt that his soul power took another small step forward. "Hey, system, how come I got another 954,000 soul power?" Mtlnovel asked in confusion. Ding dong. The system reports to the host that for any experience-based advanced task, in addition to receiving experience-based rewards while completing the task, you can also receive a certain percentage of additional rewards when the time limit is reached or the task is completed. According to the system star rating of the host's task performance, you can also receive a certain percentage of additional rewards. I just received a total of 1.06 million soul power, and the task rating is 4.5 stars, with a full star of 5 stars. That is, 1.06 million soul power multiplied by 90%, and finally an additional reward of 954,000 soul power. Is that right? Mtlnovel asked. Ding dong. The host's calculation is completely correct. Haha, not bad. It is indeed a rare task. After completing the task, you can also get additional rewards. In half an hour, I have upgraded 2 small levels. Mukin was overjoyed and glanced at Tang Yue. Among Mukin's many tasks, there is an experience-based advanced task related to the latter. It is a task to train Tang Yue to be a powerful person who dominates the Douluo continent. Second brother, please respect yourself. Xueqing couldn't bear it anymore, frowned, took a step away from Mukin, and said, now we have become sworn brothers of the opposite sex. Although you are my second brother, I am the crown prince of the Tiandou Empire after all. If you treat me like this in public, it will affect my reputation. Mukin smiled and said, okay, I won't joke with you like this in public in the future. Xueqing listened, and his frown did not relax, saying, even in private, you can't joke like this. I'm not used to it. I'm really not interested in men. Mukin laughed when he heard it. All men in the world can say that they are not interested in men, but Xueqing is the only one who doesn't have this qualification. Mukin didn't point it out at the moment, but looked at Xueqing with a smile and said, look at what you said, what do you think of me? Did she see it? Mukin pointed his finger at Xiaowu. Xueqing nodded in confusion. Mukin continued, to tell you the truth, she calls me brother, but she is actually my future fiancé. 6 years ago, we slept in the same bed. Ah. Xueqing looked at Mukin in surprise. Mukin is only 12 years old now. 6 years ago, Mukin was 6 years old. Fuck, Xueqing couldn't believe that his second brother had sex with someone else 6 years ago. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a virgin now. Mukin raised his eyebrows and put his hand on Xueqing's shoulder. Soul power plus 666. Soul power plus 669. Soul power plus 777. As Mukin moved, Mukin could gain more than 600 points of soul power from Qianrenxue almost every 2 minutes. After all, it was not the first time, and there was no experience-based advanced time-limited task buff. So the soul power gained was not that exaggerated, but fortunately, no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat, and the soul power gained is still considerable. Xueqing smiled dumbly. Mukin's words made him, who was born in a noble family, feel extremely uncomfortable. Mukin continued, Xiaowu is still young. It is not good for her physical development to experience sex too early. Although it is a bit hard for me, it is all worth it for Xiaowu. Xueqing looked at Mukin in surprise. Mukin's behavior was unruly. He did not expect Mukin to be able to resist the beauty. He could not help but look at Mukin with new eyes again. Xueqing glanced at Mukin's companions. Xueqing was surprised to find that, except for Mukin, all the young men younger than him had achieved achievements that he did not have at his age. The soul power aura of Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiaowu and others was not what they should have at their age. Finally, Xueqing's eyes fell on Tang San. The aura on Tang San was somewhat similar to that of Tang Yue. Xueqing guessed that Tang San was also from the hidden Haotian sect. Second brother, everyone, I will be waiting for you at the prince's mansion tomorrow night. Xueqing was not a man, and he could not stand Mu Chen's intimate behavior, so he had to leave in advance. Okay. Mu Chen smiled and nodded. As for Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong and others, they all nodded. Okay, everyone has been busy all night. If there is nothing else, go and rest. Mu Chen said lightly. After everyone left, Mu Chen looked at Tang Yue and asked, Yue, haven't you found any news about them yet? Tang Yue shook her head slightly and said, I followed your instructions and asked someone to send a letter to Shrek Academy. As a result, Shrek Academy was deserted. After that, I sent people to inquire around, but there was no news about Flanders, Zhao Wuji and others. Where will they go? Mukin raised his eyebrows slightly. Calculating the time, Flanders and others should have brought the Shrek 7 devils to Tiandou City at this time, wanting to cooperate with Tiandou Royal Academy. Due to the appearance of Mukin, this storyline has been subverted. The Shrek 7 devils did not appear in Tiandou Royal Academy at this time, but in Yuexian, where they studied etiquette and music. Teacher, don't worry. They have the cultivation of soul saints and soul emperors, and they are not children. Nothing will happen. Tang Yuehua comforted. Yuehua, send someone to Tiandou Royal Academy tomorrow to inquire and see if Flanders and Zhao Wuji have been to Tiandou Royal Academy. Mukin ordered. Okay. Tang Yuehua nodded. What's wrong, is there anything else? Mukin asked. Master, it's time for me to give you a massage. Tang Yuehua said. Well, come on. Mu Chen nodded and lay on the rocking chair. Seeing this, Tang Yuehua walked behind Mu Chen, stretched out her jade hand like a green onion root, put it on Mu Chen's shoulder, and really started to massage Mu Chen. Teacher, Xueqing has feelings for you. Tang Yuehua's hand suddenly stopped, as if she was very concerned about Mu Chen's attitude. Oh. Mu Chen responded lightly. Just now she quietly asked me what level of noble status a commoner must have to be able to marry a princess. Seeing Mu Chen's indifferent attitude, Tang Yuehua breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, Tang Yuehua was relieved in her heart, wondering what was wrong with her. Why was she afraid that someone else would snatch Mu Chen away? After nearly a year of getting along day and night, Tang Yuehua made breakfast for Mu Chen every day, was personally taught piano skills by Mu Chen during the day, and gave Mu Chen massages and foot washes at night. Could it be that she has fallen in love with her teacher? Oh. Mu Chen responded lightly again. Xueqing fell in love with Mukin, and Mukin was not surprised. Mukin was very outstanding, and his brilliance overshadowed Tang San. He had taken all the paths that Tang San had taken before, and he also personally taught Xueqing how to dance. If Xueqing didn't fall in love with him, it would be strange. Teacher, Xueqing is a good girl. As a princess, she always follows the prince, and like Xueqing, she doesn't have the airs of a princess. It's normal for a person to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. For her own happiness, Tang Yuehua couldn't help but instill some ideas that were beneficial to Mukin. Let's talk about it later. Love is something that can't be sought or obtained. When fate comes, it's impossible to refuse. Mukin closed his eyes and enjoyed Tang Yuehua's massage. It must be said that Tang Yuehua's hands that used the baton and the massage technique were excellent. Soul power plus 100. Soul power plus 100. Soul power plus 100. During Tang Yuehua's continuous massage, Mukin would gain 100 points of soul power every 10 minutes. Chapter 98 Tiandou Royal Academy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Tang Yuehua broke into Mukin's room early in the morning. Seeing Mukin washing up, she hurriedly said, Master, I have already found out about Flanders and the others. Oh. Mu Chen asked, where are they? Tang Yuehua replied, according to your instructions, I sent someone to Tiandou Royal Academy this morning to inquire, and found out that Flanders led some people and they were entering Tiandou Royal Academy. Tiandou Royal Academy, Mu Chen raised his eyebrows. According to the storyline of Douluo, Flanders wanted to borrow chickens to lay eggs, and indeed went to Tiandou Royal Academy to cooperate with Tiandou Royal Academy. As a result, he was strongly obstructed by Prince Xueqing, who pretended to be incompetent. Let's go, call Xiao Wu and the others, and go to Tiandou Royal Academy. Mukin called. According to Mukin's instructions, Tang Yuehua sent people to the residences of Xiao Wu, Xueqing, Ning Rongrong and others to gather them all. Follow Mukin to Tiandou Royal Academy outside Tiandou City. Passing by the stalls on the street, Mu Qing bought some steamed buns, fried dough sticks and other breakfasts to fill her stomach. Tiandou Royal Academy is built on the sunny side of a mountain. Many European-style buildings are built against the mountain. Here, the air is very fresh with mountains and water. The reason why it is far away from the hustle and bustle of the capital is to build a simulated training ground. The practice of the simulated training ground is also to allow the students in the academy to practice martial arts in the most suitable environment. If a simulated training ground is built in the city, it is obviously not enough for the practice of beast soul masters. For the high-level soul master academy, being able to have a simulated training ground is also an important criterion for whether it can be rated as a high-level soul master academy. Wow, it's so beautiful here. Xiao Wu looked at the scenery around her and couldn't help praising. The academy is a good academy. But the student atmosphere here is not very good. Tang San's eagle eyes swept around. On the rest chairs in the aisle, many noble children sat there lazily. There was also a follower beside him to massage him. Some even secretly put their hands into the clothes of the female students beside them. The atmosphere here is indeed not good. Xiao Wu also frowned slightly. The learning atmosphere here is indeed not good. Tang Yuehua glanced around and replied, for some students, becoming a powerful soul master is not their goal. Their parents spent a lot of effort to send them here, hoping that they could make friends with noble children who would help their children's future development. This also created the learning atmosphere of Tiandou Royal Academy. Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong and others nodded, expressing their approval of Tang Yuehua's words. As Tang Yuehua continued to introduce, the Xueqing monsters learned that the students of Tiandou Royal Academy were divided into 3 levels. Those with strength less than level 25 are Tianwei level, those between level 25 and level 30 are Tianji level, and those above level 30 are Tiandou level. Most of the students who created a bad learning atmosphere were the lowest Tianwei level. Most of them regarded Tiandou Royal Academy as a place to make friends with the powerful. As for the teachers of the academy, they were also divided into 3 levels. Teachers above level 40 and below level 50 are classified as Tianwei level teachers, teachers between level 50 and 60 are Tianji level teachers, and teachers above level 60 are Tiandou level teachers. Today, Tiandou Royal Academy is managed by the Education Committee composed of 3 of the most senior and strongest Tiandou level teachers. Tang Yuehua continued to explain. Dai Mubai smiled, with a proud arc on the corner of his mouth, and said, so, I can also be a teacher here. Teacher. Tang Yuehua was surprised and looked at Dai Mubai in surprise. To become a teacher at Tiandou Royal Academy, the soul power must reach level 40 or above. The third prince from the Xingluo Empire in front of him has a soul power of more than level 40. Tang Yuehua expressed disbelief. However, not only Dai Mubai, but even Ma Hongjun said proudly, I think I can also be a teacher. And me. Oscar followed closely, put his arm around Ma Hongjun's shoulder, and smiled proudly. Tang Yuehua was stunned and looked around at the young men around her. She was surprised to find that not only Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun and Oscar, but also Xiao Wu, Zhu Xueqing, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran and Tang San all showed the same smile on their faces. Master, their soul power has reached level 40. Tang Yuehua asked Mukin in a low voice. Mukin glanced at the companions around him and said with a smile, the worst can be a teacher of the Tianji level. Tang Yuehua was stunned and got Mukin's personal recognition. Tang Yuehua was extremely shocked that these people around her actually had such a terrifying talent. Before adulthood, he was already a soul king with a soul power of more than 50 levels. Following Tang Yuehua, Mukin and others came all the way to the Education Committee building of Tiandou Royal Academy. With Tang Yuehua's guidance, Mukin and others entered the Education Committee building unimpeded. I heard from Qin Ming that there is a kid named Mukin in your academy who defeated our Tiandou team by himself. I wonder if he came with you. We didn't bring them with us this time. To be honest, he has led 8 little monsters from our academy to go out for training. Before entering the meeting hall of the Education Committee, Flanders and an old man were heard talking inside. This is really a pity. Dean Flanders, Qin Ming has already told me before you came. After discussion, we agreed that you would join our Tiandou Royal Academy. Unless you are willing, the academy will never assign any teaching tasks to you. Here, you are free to do everything. Dean. Mu Chen stepped out and took the lead in entering the meeting hall of the Education Committee. Mu Chen, you are back. Flanders was overjoyed and looked at Mu Chen up and down, and then looked at the 8 monsters behind Mu Chen. Seeing that they came back intact one by one, the smile on his face became even stronger. Flanders knew where Mu Chen had taken the 8 monsters. However, Mu Chen and the other 9 came back so quickly, and Flanders was not sure whether Mu Chen and the others had obtained the Killing God domain. Did it succeed? Flanders asked. Yes. Mu Chen nodded. Good boy, meeting you is the greatest blessing of my life. Flanders had a proud arc on his lips, and his eagle-like eyes flashed with excitement. He gently patted Mukin's shoulder. Of course, don't you look at who I am. Mukin smiled proudly, and then looked at the three white-haired old men sitting in the first place. Familiar with the storyline of Douluo, Mukin knew that the old man sitting in the middle must be the chief of the education committee, Meng Xinji, the martial soul black demon, and the control system 86 level 8-ring battle soul Douluo. It is rumored that once controlled by the black demon, you will fall into an infinite cycle of dreams. This is a bit similar to Itachi Izanami in the Naruto plane. The short and fat man next to him, who looks like a tumbler, must be the second in the education committee, by Baoshan, the martial soul Tianxinglu, and the defense system 85 level 8-ring battle soul Douluo. Don't be fooled by his short and fat appearance. His martial soul is said to be something that few people can break through with just strength, even if it is a title Douluo. The tall and thin old man standing on the right side of Meng Xinji must be Jilin, the third seat of the education committee, with a martial soul of Tianqing and a level 83 8-ring instrument soul Douluo of the control system. Originally, Mukin had no intention of entering the Tiandou Royal Academy. Now that he is here and has bound to the system, he must collect some soul power before leaving. Calculating the time, the poison Douluo who is good at using poison should also appear. Chapter 99, It is impolite not to reciprocate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 seniors, don't you want to meet the genius of our academy? He is it. Flanders looked at Mukin. He, Meng Xinji, by Baoshan, and Jilin looked at Mukin in surprise. Obviously, they didn't expect that Mukin, who was so young, could defeat their academy's royal fighting team alone against 7. Jilin, who was in the control department, stood up and stretched out his hand to Mukin. A suction force sucked Mukin in front of Jilin. Zhao Wuji frowned and wanted to stand up, but Flanders stretched out his hand to stop him. Jilin released his soul power, forming an aura that oppressed Mukin. Mukin's mouth curled up slightly, knowing that Jilin was testing his strength. Hey, he actually resisted. Jilin was shocked. Under his test, Mukin did not use his martial soul and soul power to fight, but relied on his body to withstand Jilin's soul pressure. Seeing this, Jilin couldn't help but use 60% of his soul power. However, Jilin was still shocked to find that Mukin was still motionless, standing there with a very relaxed look. He didn't even show a bit of pain. Jilin didn't know that Mukin's physical toughness had reached a terrifying level. The Chaos 8 wings of the Outer Palace Soul Bone had already raised his physical strength to an extremely high level. Jilin was extremely shocked. The child in front of him was so young, and his future achievements were limitless. Okay, let me see your limit. Jilin thought so in his heart. The output of soul power became 70%, then 80%, and finally 90%. When Jilin used all his soul power, he was still shocked to find that the young man in front of him was still not forced out of his martial soul. His whole person was like a piece of wood, and there was always a contemptuous arc at the corner of his mouth. Not only Jilin was shocked, but even the chief of the Tiandou Royal Academy's education committee, Meng Xinji, and the second by Baoshan, looked at Mukin in great surprise. As soul masters, the three of them knew very well that if low-level soul masters had to bear the soul pressure brought by high-level soul masters, few soul masters could exceed 2/3 of the soul pressure of high-level soul masters. However, Mukin in front of them could withstand 100% of the soul pressure of Jilin, a soul Douluo level strongman. Moreover, Mukin did not even release his martial soul power plus 13239. Soul power plus 13999. Soul power plus 13666. With the shock of the 3 soul Douluo level figures in front of them, Mukin harvested more than 40,000 soul powers in total. Really a genius. Jilin put away his hand and praised Mukin. He liked Mukin from the bottom of his heart. Is this the end of the matter? The answer is obviously no. Mukin smiled slightly and said, in my hometown, there is a famous saying. It is impolite not to return the favor. Mukin stretched out his hand, and the soul power on his body enveloped Jilin. You want to test my strength? Jilin smiled lightly, and was very proud of his smile. In Jilin's opinion, he was a sole Douluo of more than 80 levels, and the young man in front of him actually wanted to show him some color. Isn't this funny? Not only Jilin, but also Meng Xinji, Bai Baoshan, including Flanders, and Zhao Wuji, all did not think highly of Mtlnovel. Mtlnovel was too young, how could he possibly show a sole Douluo level character his color? Mtlnovel did not respond, but his back shook slightly, and 7 kinds of light, yellow, red, blue, silver, emerald green, black, and gold, bloomed from Mtlnovel's back and condensed into 8 colorful wings. External soul bone, Meng Xinji, Bai Baoshan, and Jilin, the 3 soul Douluo masters, stared at Mtlnovel in amazement. Hey, Mtlnovel's soul bone has evolved. Flanders, Zhao Wuji and other Shrek Academy teachers also looked at Mtlnovel's Chaos 8 wings in amazement. Buzz, under the Chaos 8 wings, Mtlnovel's aura suddenly rose rapidly. The soul power pressing on Jilin seemed to turn into a mountain. Boom. Jilin's face twisted, and a green vine appeared in the center of his palm, which was his martial soul, the azure ivy. Jilin's face was gloomy and looked a little ugly. Jilin was just mocking Mtlnovel in his heart, mocking the latter's overestimation of his own abilities. At this moment, as a soul Douluo level strongman, he was forced to summon his martial soul by the soul pressure of a younger generation. Invisibly, Jilin felt that his old face was hit hard. Soul power plus 36,000 points. Due to the shock of everyone in the field, Mtlnovel gained another 36,000 emotional points. Genius, what a genius, the chief of Meng Xinji looked at Mtlnovel with extremely hot eyes. As a well-known control-type soul master in the soul master world, he had a feeling that the future soul master world must be the world of this young man in front of him. Is Chief Meng Xinji here? That just when Chief Meng Xinji was about to accept Flanders' request and take in Shrek Academy's teachers and students, a slightly hoarse voice came from outside the hall. First, a soldier in armor broke into the hall. Then an old man in a brocade robe entered the hall. Behind the old man, there was a middle-aged man in emerald-scale armor. The middle-aged man had an extraordinary aura and sharp eyes like a venomous snake. Every time he took a step, the bonsai along the way would wither. Doupo. Mu Chen put away the external soul bone and looked at the person who came. He knew that this person was Doupo, the poison Douluo with the title of poison. Beside the old man in the gorgeous robe, there was a red-haired young man. Not good. Flanders frowned. What's wrong, Dean? Mu Chen asked softly. When we entered the academy, we were laughed at by that young man. I argued with him for a while, and he started fighting with me. Naturally, I taught him a lesson. Now it seems that the background of that young man is not simple. Flanders frowned. Mu Chen smiled slightly after listening. Being familiar with the storyline of Douluo, Mu Chen naturally knew how complicated the background of that young man was. The other party was simply the 4th prince of the Tiandou Empire. The old man in front of him was the younger brother of the current Tiandou Empire's Majesty Xueqing, His Royal Highness Prince Xueqing. Is Chief Meng Xinji here? Your Highness, why are you here? Why, the 3 members of the Education Committee have guests here. Won't you introduce them to me? Your Highness, let me introduce you. This is Flanders, the president of Shrek Academy. This time he is here to discuss cooperation with us. President Flanders, this is His Highness Prince Xueqing of the Tiandou Empire. The Royal Academy is under the jurisdiction of His Highness. Prince Xueqing looked around and finally stopped at Mtlnovel. Yesterday, His Highness Prince Xueqing also watched the ceremony of Yueshuan's graduation from the academy. Afterwards, he also heard about Mtlnovel and His Highness Prince Xueqing becoming sworn brothers. Prince Xueqing was startled. Mtlnovel and His Highness Prince Xueqing were sworn brothers, and now they appeared here again. In his opinion, His Highness Prince wanted to seize the power in his hands. Prince Xueqing had already made up his mind to stop the cooperation between Shrek Academy and Tiandou Royal Academy. Chapter 100, The City of Slaughter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Prince Xueqing said with great contempt, how come I haven't heard of Shrek Academy? Meng Xinji, this is a fake academy, right? Flanders and Zhao Wuji looked gloomy when they heard these infuriating words. Even Tang Yue clenched her hands tightly and took a step forward. Mu Chen grabbed Tang Yuehua's hand in time and signaled Tang Yuehua to stay calm. Master, he is too irritating. Tang Yuehua said. Let's see first. Mu Chen said lightly. Prince Xueqing took in the expressions of Flanders and Zhao Wuji, and continued in a blaming tone, Chief Mengxinji, how could you let these people of unknown origin enter our academy? Mengxinji stood up helplessly and explained, Your Highness, Shrek Academy is by no means a low-ranking academy. The Spirit Hall has promised that all students who graduate from Shrek Academy will be awarded the title of Imperial Viscount. Teacher Qin Ming of our academy graduated from Shrek Academy. This time, the teachers of Shrek Academy are willing to teach in our academy, which is an honor for our academy. Especially the student named Mukin on the other side, he is. Enough. Prince Xueqing interrupted Mengxinji and said, I already know what you mean. It's just that according to the rules of our academy, if you want to apply for a teacher in our academy, you need to pass the assessment. 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 The teacher of Shrek Academy frowned, seeing Prince Xueqing's attitude. Jilin, who is one of the 3 seats in the Tiandou Royal Academy's Education Committee, stepped out and glanced at Mukin. He was afraid of losing the opportunity to educate Mukin, a genius, and said, several teachers in Shrek Academy have the strength of Tiandou-level teachers. No assessment is required. Your Highness, you came here today. Isn't it for this matter? Tiandou Royal Academy is the pillar of the empire, and most of the empire's fresh blood comes from here. I don't want the academy to hire some people with unknown origins and arrogant and domineering people. Prince Xueqing's cold eyes swept across the teachers and students of Shrek Academy. Then what do you want to do? Zhao Wuji asked. Since you are here to seek cooperation with our Tiandou Royal Academy, you must prove to me that you are indeed talented. Prince Xueqing said. Okay, Your Highness, how do you want us to prove it? Flanders asked. It's very simple. You just need to hold on for 5 minutes under this Mr. Dougu, and I will recognize your talents. Prince Xueqing looked at Poison Douluo, and then said, otherwise, please get out of our academy. You, Dai Mubai couldn't bear it anymore, and rushed out impulsively. He stepped hard on his feet, and just as his body flew into the air, before he got in front of Dougu, he was knocked to the ground by Dougu's eyes. Just a glance, and knocked Dai Mubai down. No way, is this Mr. Dougu a titled Douluo? The teachers and students of Shrek Academy looked at Poison Douluo in surprise. Ding dong. Trigger the A-level hidden mission, defeat Dougu. Idiot. Mu Chen stepped forward and approached Dai Mubai. No, he is poisonous, Jilin shouted while exerting his martial spirit, trying to wrap Mukin's waist. Crack, with a slight sound, the vine wrapped around Mukin's waist was easily broken by Mukin. Mu Chen walked to Dai Mubai's side, kicked the unconscious Dai Mubai, kicked him to Tang San's side, and cursed, what a fool. You have been with me for so long, why are you still so impulsive? Your Highness, don't go too far. Mengxinji reminded unhappily. Chief Mengxinji, don't forget. In Tiandou Royal Academy, I am the direct manager. I have the right to decide on personnel. Prince Xueqing said lightly. Come on. Poison Douluo said contemptuously. After speaking, 9 soul rings fell from Dougu's head. 9 soul rings, indicating that the other party is a titled Douluo. The colors of the soul rings are yellow, yellow, purple, purple, black, 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 black. It means that the other party is still a titled Douluo with a standard soul ring configuration. There is no need for our Shrek Academy teachers to take action. I am enough. Mu Chen said lightly. Are you sure? Poison Douluo narrowed his eyes and looked at Mu Chen sharply. At the same time, a wisp of green poison mist, like a bamboo leaf green snake, shot towards Mu Chen. Dong! A subtle sound rang out, and the poison mist hit Mu Chen's body, but it did not cause any effect on Mu Chen. I'm sure. Mu Chen nodded with a chuckle. Poison Douluo's eyes were reported, and he looked at Mu Chen in surprise. The young man in front of him actually blocked his poison gas attack. Although it was just a look and a thought, Poison Douluo was confident that he could knock down all soul masters below the Soul King realm with this move. However, the young man in front of him easily resisted it. Soul power plus 10,000. Due to Poison Douluo's surprise, Mu Chen harvested 10,000 emotional points and gained 10,000 soul power. Mu Chen, come back. Flanders said in a deep voice, his surname is Dugu, and he smells fishy. If I'm not mistaken, he should be Dugu Bo, the Poison Douluo with the title of Poison. Since you know my name, why don't you get out of here? Poison Douluo said with sharp eyes. Mu Chen, come back quickly. Flanders glanced at his companions, stepped forward, and said, we old guys are not dead yet. Even if we charge into battle, it's not your turn to go to the battlefield. Xian level low-level fighting skills, blowing fire palm. Yao Chen stretched out his hand to Flanders, and a fierce blowing force forced Flanders, Zhao Wuji, and other 5 teachers of Shrek Academy to retreat 3 steps. Mu Chen. Flanders looked at Mu Chen in confusion. Dean, after all, I am also a member of Shrek Academy. How can I remain indifferent when the academy is so humiliated? Why use a butcher knife to kill a chicken? It's just a title Douluo. You teachers don't need to take action. Let me, a 12-year-old boy, experience your poison. Mu Chen smiled confidently. You are brave. If you can hold on to my hand for 1 minute, you will win. Poison Douluo said lightly. Buzz, Poison Douluo's mind moved, and the soul power on his body surged out, as if forming a poisonous snake, opening its bloody mouth towards Mukin. Buzz. Mu Chen's mind moved, and a subtle wave swept around. At the same time, his back shook slightly, and colorful light bloomed, and finally condensed into Chaos 8 wings. External Soul Bone. And the Killing God Domain. Poison Douluo looked at Mukin in amazement. The 12-year-old boy in front of him actually obtained a very rare external soul bone and the Killing God Domain. 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 The 3 chiefs of the Tiandou Royal Academy's Education Committee, as well as His Royal Highness Prince Xueqing, all looked at Mukin as if petrified. Mukin was so young, but he actually obtained the Killing God Domain, which is synonymous with power. Flanders smiled triumphantly, looked at the 3 heads of the Tiandou Royal Academy's Teaching Committee, and explained, 3 seniors, I forgot to explain it to you just now. In fact, Mukin led the 8 monsters of our Shrek Academy to a place of training called the City of Slaughter.